Welcome to Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, where every conversation sparks new insights. Join us as we delve into the stories of extraordinary individuals who are shaping our world, movers and shakers in tech, policymakers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and all those whose stories are worth telling. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and transformed. Welcome, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Impact Masters Podcast. You can check us out on all social media platforms. You can also find us across all podcast channels. Simply search for Impact Masters, then subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. Here's your host, Michael Kamathi.
Thank you once again. Welcome back. It is a blessed day, the day of the Lord. And it's me, Michael Kamathi. You can call me MK if you want. And I'm welcoming you to the Impact Masters podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcasts. Africa's Talking is an API provider providing CPaaS solution. When you talk about voice, data, that is mobile data, airtime, SMS, USSD, APIs where we build at scale. That is Africa's Talking. You can find Africa's Talking products at africastalking.com, the main provider and the main sponsor of these podcasts. On the other side, we have our producer, director, photography, editor, everything. Oliver Were Akolo. You can find him on social media at Akolo, at ART_Akolo with AKOLLO. Find him, one of the best. He has been doing an amazing work for this podcast and more. And today we continue the discussion with my guests, the learned. I call him my learned friend, but after the last discussion, maybe soon I'll be calling him His Excellency. He has done a lot. His story is worth telling. He's an impact master. And is just scratching the surface. I feel like there's more to it, and we're just starting up. And I would like to welcome him once more so that we can continue the conversation and tell the story worth telling about our African impact masters who are movers and shakers in tech and in other sphere that impacts our day to day. How are you, Kevin Karuga, my learned friend?
Very well, Michael. Thank you for having me again.
Yes.
It's been a while since we were last here.
Yes.
We did finish our conversation.
It was hot. It was interesting and educative.
Thank you.
Yes, and a very unique experience that was really worth sharing. And guys, if you don't know, on the side, even the guest himself could not really imagine. He has never recalled all that experience. So that's why we tell these stories, so that you can learn from them, you can improve from them, you can avoid the mistakes or anything that actually find useful. You grab it, run with it. If it works for you, feel free. But you requested me to do a recap.
Yes.
And mention a few things that you missed. I don't know if you want to do that still.
Maybe as we proceed,
we will venture into.
We might, because I think as you tell your story,
yes,
you realize that you've been through a lot of things in life.
Yes.
Some things are hidden in your subconscious. You don't, until you talk about them.
Yes.
You can't, very good.
Yes.
Until you talk about them, you can't really say you remember. So they are hidden in your subconscious from when you are growing up.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things actually shape who we become.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And the decisions we make every day. Yeah. So, I mean, the last time we had this conversation, you are still a Stanbic Bank.
Yes.
Having been promoted. Mm-hmm. And your salary, I don't know, tripled or doubled or quadrupled. It was quite interesting to work with the movers and shakers in the banking sector.
Yeah.
Supporting the board and, who is who in the banking sector. Mm-hmm. That's where we were.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So when you got promoted, did you buy a new suit?
I think I had also talked about financial literacy at that time. And of course, what I did not know is, see, as your salary was increasing, expenses were also increasing.
Also ballooning.
Ballooning. You want to move into a bigger house.
You want to marry 3 wives.
You want to. Well, I did not marry 3 wives.
At this point, did you have a girlfriend? Or did you have a potential?
Yeah.
Were you looking,
Yes. A story for another day.
I know that story.
But the thing is, and I think I mentioned at the last discussion, is that it was very encouraging for me. Because I think also what I was able to do, even if I made bad financial decisions
at that point.
I also equally made a lot of good financial decisions, because I think, as I said, that was the time when I also started my master's degree when I was at Stanbic. Around that time, I was able to, of course,
that is in law, right?
No, I did my master's in public policy and governance.
Okay.
So I was able to. We used to have classes at 6.
Without Muremi's support now at this point.
Yes. Now at least now. He's now, the way you leave a butterfly to go. So now I've been allowed to move.
Yes.
Because now, of course, and he was also very excited that I had finally gotten a job, permanently employed.
Okay.
Of course, I was always giving status updates of how I am proceeding. And I think at that time, because remember, I had not planned, I didn't ever think I would work in a bank.
Okay.
So what I remembered was, at the back of my mind, I really wanted to study something that would put me out in government, because I knew my passion was to work in government. I either wanted to be a diplomat or a policy analyst, someone senior in government. I know that day is still going to come.
Yes.
But now when I joined the bank, I wanted now to have career progression within the bank.
Yeah.
My role, as I said, having worked in the company secretary space, there are professional courses that you need to do. The certified secretary course, which used to be called CPS, CASNEB offered.
Is it like the way we have CPAs?
Yes.
So in legal, there is a CPS.
Yes, so CPS. It used to be called CPS, but now it's called certified secretary. It's just CS.
Okay.
It is for people who want to venture into policy and, in fact, for listed companies, for government parastatals, they are required to have a certified secretary, who is usually the secretary to the board and ideally serves as a company secretary in an organization.
Okay.
So for me, looking at my boss, who was a company secretary, I said one of the most highly qualified in the market at the time. Yeah. And I admired. And of course, now the proximity to the board and whatnot. But then also, so I had that course that I needed to pursue. That is the certified secretary course. Yeah. And then within the bank, there are different areas, because now as I did the board work, we had of course there's a board of directors, and then there are committees of the board. And the committees of the board, we had being a bank, we had the board credit committee. Okay. We had the board risk committee. Okay. And we had the board audit committee. Okay.
And are these internal or external?
Yes, so these are the committees of the board. Okay. So then, of course, there's a big
internal
board.
Team.
No, you see, okay, let me put it. So in an organization like a bank, yes, or say a listed company, okay, there is the board of directors. Let's not even start there. There is the shareholders. Okay. So the shareholders are the owners of the business. Okay. And then those owners of the business appoint the board of directors. Okay. That helps the organization to run.
That is amongst themselves.
Yes.
Or it can be external.
It can be external. Okay. It can be external, but nominated by the people who are shareholders. Because
and it's very interesting you're mentioning this. So at what point do you say now we want to bring external? Do they bring a special expertise? How does that work?
Okay, so this is what happens. Let me speak from the banking perspective.
Okay.
So we have shareholders.
Yes.
And shareholders are the owners of the business.
Yes.
So the owners of the business are going to say, we would want people to run this business. Okay? People who are going to oversee, because shareholders are never involved in the day-to-day running of the business.
Yes.
So they say, okay, we are going to bring what is called a board of directors. And this board of directors can be from themselves who are shareholders or outside people who are of high standing. Okay. So, for example, at Stanbic, we had people from different spheres of life. So, and what happens is that board of directors are elected during what is called annual general meetings. These are the meetings of the shareholders, and they serve for specific terms, and you can be eligible for re-election, and you can retire, what is called retire by rotation. So, and there are some people who came and, they have been in the board for a long time.
Okay.
But what happens in a board, there are people, especially when you speak about a listed company, we have people who are called executive directors. And executive directors are the directors that are involved in the day-to-day running of the company.
I want to clarify something. Just told you that listed company, you mean in Nairobi Stock Exchange or NASDAQ or this?
Very good.
It's publicly?
Yes, publicly listed, like now on the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have executive directors who run the business day-to-day.
Okay.
And usually the managing director or the CEO is usually a director. So the fact that he is running the business, he's considered an executive director. And then we have others who are called non-executive directors. This means they are not involved in the day-to-day running of the business.
Okay.
So an executive director, for example, is able to influence policy in-house.
Yes.
He can say, okay, we need to hire this person, we need to procure, of course, not unilaterally, but they're involved. Non-executive directors, on the other hand, are people who are not involved in the day-to-day running of the business.
Yes.
They only come for board meetings and committee meetings every quarter.
Okay.
And then, finally, there are those who are called independent non-executive directors.
Okay.
These are people who are completely not involved in the business, and they are not related to any party, that is involved in the business.
Yes.
And a lot of times, the chairman of the board is usually an independent non-executive director.
Okay.
The chairman of the audit committee is usually an independent non-executive director.
Okay.
But then these independent non-executive directors, they are there for a duration of time, and they stop being independent because they have been in the business for too long.
Okay.
So they have already been able to understand what goes on in the business. So you can't say they are independent anymore. Okay. So now they can now become non-executive,
yes,
but then continue or retire.
Okay.
And then so what I was explaining is, from the board of directors, there's what is called the main board of all the directors.
Yes.
But then the main board has what is called committees that help the board run. So there's the board audit committee. It basically deals with audit matters, and they work directly, closely with the internal audit function within the bank.
Yes.
So this is an independent, so the internal audit within the bank is usually independent and reports directly into the board audit committee, which we used to call BAC.
Okay.
And of course, it is led by someone who has a background in audit
and finance.
Yeah. And then there's a credit committee, basically dealing with because the bank was basically it gives credit and whatnot.
Now they manage loans, the interest, the bank, the government regulations, and all that. Yeah.
But then now there's also what is called the board risk committee. So there's a lot of risk usually in that space. So the board risk committee also has a chairman and meets. And then all of them meet quarterly, but then they meet before the main board.
Okay.
So when the main board is meeting, all of us now, all the committees that have met, submit reports to the board.
Okay.
The main board.
Yes.
So that is on a quarterly basis.
And that's what now the board discusses.
Yes, so that's what the board discusses.
Yes.
And also, now, remember, I've said there's three layers. There's the shareholders, the board of directors, and then now there is now the management.
Yes.
The management committee. Now the people who are actually on the ground.
Yes.
The people who he's the head of this. At the bank, we used to call them EXCO, the executive committee.
Okay.
So we have, say, the head of legal, we have the head of credit, we have the company secretary, head of finance, CFO, those the top brass. So the management committee, the EXCO, which is led by the CEO, of course, reports into the board. Okay? And these are the people who run the company on a day-to-day basis. All right? Yes.
Interesting. Now, would you be able to break down how they are enumerated? Especially the board, because that's not what is not clear. If I'm starting a company, I want to grow it to be listed.
Yeah.
How would I think about, how do I remunerate such board?
So we're still talking about a big board like Stanbic, not a startup.
Yes.
So of course, there is, if my memory serves me right, there is what is called the industry standard.
Okay.
Of how are directors remunerated in listed companies.
Yes.
Because what they are given, they're not given a salary.
Okay.
They have board fees, okay, which is again also paid quarterly.
Oh, I see.
All right, so they're not usually employed as
they expect a salary.
They expect a salary. No.
Okay.
There was just usually, of course, there are good perks, but it is not salary.
And it's not sitting allowance.
Well, you would call it board fees. We used to call them board fees.
Okay.
And there's what is called a board remuneration committee. The board remuneration committee's role is to ensure that the board, the members of the board who are called directors, are given fair remuneration based on the industry standard.
Yes.
And also this can be changed from time to time. But remember, it has to be approved by the shareholders.
Yes.
When you look at audited financials, there's usually a space for remuneration of directors.
Okay.
And this remuneration of directors is always approved at the shareholders meeting together with remuneration of the auditors.
Yes.
So they have to be approved. Yeah.
Interesting. So in this case, you're now interested to be the secretary of the listed company.
Yes, I wanted. Yes.
And there you join masters.
So I joined a master's, but then as I was saying, there's a certified secretary course. And the reason why I was explaining about the board committees, there's also what is called, there's a credit course. I think it's certified credit professional.
Okay.
I also wanted to do that because now my boss had given me the role of dealing with the board credit committee. Okay.
And you wanted to really have some professionalism.
Yes, I wanted to understand. Yeah. But remember, I told you that I was not good with the math. And board credit committee, full of mathematics. There was a lot of numbers, a lot of ROI, whatnot. Yes. And in fact, a lot of times we used to fight fight loosely with the boss in terms of doing what is called the minutes for the board credit committee.
Yes.
I feel I had not properly understood what credit committee used to do. So I even had to be seconded to the credit department to first of all go and understand what do these guys really do at credit.
Yes.
And that is why I wanted to go and study. It's a CASNEB course, certified credit professional.
Yes.
But then I was very enthusiastic. I wanted to do all of them at the same time. I enrolled for my master's. I enrolled for my CS. And I also planned to enroll for
the credit certification.
The credit certification.
Yes.
It was not possible.
Yes. So you're just one man.
I was just one man.
And you have 8 to 5.
I have 8 to 5.
Yes.
But then I enrolled for the master's class and the certified secretary course. And I started. And the master's was amazing. Lecturers were amazing because it was very targeted for me. It did not really involve what I was doing at the bank.
Yes.
But it was very futuristic of where I wanted to be.
Yes.
Where I still want to be in the future.
Yes, which is politics.
In leading this country.
Yes.
And being able to ensure that we have sound policies.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And leading a country is not a joke. I mean,
absolutely.
You've seen how our president, by the time he was getting in, up to now, 2 years later, you can see he looks older.
Yes.
You remember Obama?
Yes.
By the time he was getting in,
he was looking young, but by the time he's getting out, gray hair, looking old,
all over
tired.
the place, looking tired.
Yes.
So I believe leading this country is not an easy task.
Or any country for that matter.
Yes. In fact, being a leader anywhere, because I have been a leader from when I was in primary school, you remember?
Yes.
It is very lonely at the top. And sometimes you have to have a lot of grace. And sometimes, the Bible says leaders come from God. And God always has a reason why he brings people into leadership.
Yes.
So the reason why I decided to take my master's in public policy and administration is I knew one day duty is going to call.
Yes.
And I need to understand, how does government work? If I go to be an ambassador today,
yes,
what I need to have a grasp what do we talk about GDP? How do we create government policy? What is it about? You know, you remember talking about session of paper of 1965. Yes, that you know, on national African socialism or something like that.
Yes.
So all those,
which was drafted by one and only Tom Boyer.
Yes. So you see, being able, and those are people who really, because you remember Tom Boyer and the likes were very young by the time they were taking governance, by the time they were taking leadership.
Yes.
And for me, I knew for sure that I am called into leadership to lead this country.
Yes.
And so anyway, I decided to get my public policy degree, and it was an amazing class. We had amazing classmates, and a lot of my classmates worked for government. I remember, actually, most of them were people who, in fact, I may have been the youngest at that time, because a lot of people at that time were already working in the police force, others were working at KRA, within government ministries, in parastatals.
Yes.
So it's people who are actually mature people.
They're already in the business.
Yes, people who are already working. I remember learning a lot from my friends those time. I think our class rep, John Nyaberi, I call him Dr. Magoma, polished guy. We used to learn a lot from the actual now. Because you see, there's what you do in class.
Yes.
And there's what happens.
Yes.
So these guys are doing on the ground. What happens on the ground.
Yes.
Okay.
So when the question is asked, they give real use cases.
So they give real use cases.
What is happening?
Because these are people who are some of them working at the Senate, working at the National Assembly, you know, working in Treasury. So they are able to explain, apart from what we are writing, what is it that happens
in detail.
And that reminded me, because I remember someone asking me, how do you decide which master's degree you will take? And for me, I remember it was because I already knew that that's the path I wanted to follow.
Okay.
But a lot of people in our age at the time just wanted to make sure we have a master's degree, or people already have a preconceived notion and say, okay, this is the master's degree I would want to pursue. It is good to first of all have a bit of experience, which I had not yet gotten myself.
Okay.
Have a bit of experience to understand what is it that you actually really want to study. What is it you really want to do?
Yeah.
Because
regardless of where you are.
Regardless of where you are. Because someone might say, I want to take my LLM, Masters in Law. But then in the field you are, you realize you enjoy something totally different from a Masters in Law or from a Masters in Science. You know? Yeah. So it needs to be a good balance.
And I think you've brought in a very interesting point where certification become very, very important, especially in a working industry. Just niche, because certification is about a niche field whereby it requires that kind of professionalism and knowledge that you could implement. Because I've had guys who are doing degrees, especially with ELB or Module 1, and they have the money, they have the time, and then all of them do CPA. Like, if they're doing math. But you see now, what you're brought into light is that they're very important. They complement what you know, and also in specific industry. So, did you finish all your certification on the other side, or it became hard?
So, what I did, I eventually graduated with my master's degree.
Yes.
But I was not able to do both of them at the same time. So, I studied, I took this for a semester. And another semester, I was not able to do both of them. So what I decided, I'm going to finish this one after I have finished the master's.
Yes.
Yeah, because I felt maybe the master's might be more important.
And it's very interesting.
Yeah, to finish. It was very interesting.
As a leader, you're like, this is it.
Yes.
Anything else can wait.
In fact, I didn't even mention, when I was in the US, I went to a lot of universities and even met faculty on public policy. Because I really wanted to study public policy. I really admired. I went to George Washington University. I went to Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. All of them just to go and understand, what do you guys require of me to do public policy? So it was something that I always wanted to do.
Yes.
And anyway, I did it, and hopefully I'm going to apply it more and more. But the interesting is that with the knowledge, we are able to pick out aspects of governance. And public policy and administration is very related to my field of day-to-day governance.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what was your the thesis?
It's very interesting. It was on Nairobi County.
The one that is run by one and only Sakaja at the moment.
In fact, it was themed. It was effects of public participation in Nairobi County. How has public participation been implemented? Because you remember when the Constitution 2010 came into being, the aspect of public participation became very, very important.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I wanted to understand in Nairobi County, how has public participation been implemented?
Yes.
Before we come up with projects, before we come up with with things that require mwananchi.
Yes.
And we realized actually public participation has not been a very big thing.
Yes.
It is only gaining steam, and it only becomes important when now people. You've had even when the finance bill, the judges said we didn't have adequate public participation.
Even in 2023.
Yes, you've heard of this chief. What is it? The chief? It's called chief, right? Public participation was not good. You've heard of deals like Adani.
Yes.
For JKI.
Where you realize it was signed, stamped, and people are implementing it now.
SGR. Affecting people's, people are relocated, of course.
Yeah.
So public participation is very, very important. Because even in your local village, when you're the ones who know the problems that you face.
Yes.
So the member of parliament cannot just come and say, we are going to build a hospital. Okay? We are going to build a hospital. But that is not what you need.
Maybe people need cattle dip.
Maybe you need a cattle dip, or you need a school, or you need a road.
Yes.
And I have seen a lot of times the reasons why public participation is important is because you get leadership, you get a consensus from the leadership level at the grassroots. People now voice and say, this is what we really need.
Yeah.
We have had cases from across the country where people have built a lot of dispensaries and hospitals, but there's no medical personnel, there's no medicine.
Yes.
So why do you have to build that? In fact,
it just becomes a building.
Yes, I saw this fellow, Morara Kebaso, identifying a KMTC that was built somewhere, and there's
no students, no teaching
and
staff,
it is a complete building. So the reason why I wanted to understand public participation, actually it was the effects of demographics in public participation in Nairobi County.
Yes.
How are people involved?
Did you mention governance like Switzerland, where it's actually from committee level? There is revolving presidents. There's Nyumba Kumi actually there works effectively.
Yes.
Even you cannot rent a house there without the approval of the neighbors.
Yes.
Did you point out those kind of models?